I've actually sat down way too many times to try to film a video like this, and this is not my first time. I just filmed 15 minutes and I didn't like it, so I stopped recording. I don't want to do this time. I really want to make content that I love. That is the goal here. I have been doing a lot of consuming of productive media, and I feel very inspired by all of the women that I watch and I love. And I've also been reading a lot of books based on psychology, the psychology of money. I read Atomic Habits. Actually, I'm reading that one. I am consuming a lot of productive media. And the biggest thing I have been learning lately is that you cannot be the best version of you if you do not believe that you are the best version of you. I'm learning this a lot in the book Atomic Habits. Like I said, it basically just talks about micro habits and micro systems that you should be having and adopting in order to be that best version of you, and knowing your why do you want to be that best version of you, and just really becoming that. And it is so true. You cannot become the version that you want to be if you do not believe that you are not her, which is why I'm sitting here right now filming this video, because I see all of these people and these women online that I really look up to. I'm like, I wish I could make content like that. Or I wish, and I'm like, I can. I kind of have a platform. I do. I'm a UGC creator. I know how to make content. I feel like I have a lot of value in not only my content making skills and my UGC making skills when it comes to coaching, but it took a lot of mindset shifts in order to get to the places that I am today. So that's what we're here to talk about. I will also be posting a lot of travel stuff on here as well. So it's either going to be a podcast or a travel video. Simply because I am traveling a lot and I really love vlogging, but I cannot vlog 24/7. I would love to, but it just becomes work in my head, and I don't feel like I can be so present because my job is filming content all day, that whenever I'm filming personal content, I don't feel like I can be in the present moment. But I do think it is important to document those travel moments. So next week I will be having a Italy vlog out, so stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, either a travel vlog you're going to get, or you're going to get a video like this. And today I just want to talk about how to actually be the best version of yourself. Actually, I feel like saying how to is weird. I don't want to say how to do this. I think that's a weird saying, because everyone is different, and my how-tos might not work for your how-tos. So I guess I just want to talk about simple things that I think can work if you incorporate it as you would in your life. Not exactly maybe how I did it in mine, but incorporate it in some way in yours, because I don't believe in the cookie cutter, this worked for me, so it's going to work for you. That's not what I believe in. I am also making this video because I think there's a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space, in the UGC world, that really are hustle. And I just don't believe in that. It is not my philosophy. I believe that you should be working hard in order to live that softer days that you want to live. And I'm very lucky that UGC has given that to me. And I believe that UGC could do that for so many people. We just don't know about it. That is besides the point, though. I will start with my first mindset shift. I think it was all about the little things that really got me through a lot, and it still does. It's just recognizing the little things that make you happy, the gratitude. I think whenever you're in a depressive state, if you're in an anxiety driven state, it's really hard to sit there and appreciate life, appreciate the big moments. You're kind of just really mentally focused on what has went wrong. I think being in those mindsets, it's easy to recognize, and it's really hard to tell a person who is in those depressive episodes, who is in those anxiety-driven episodes, to just be happy, just be grateful for life, because it doesn't work like that. I really learned that healing and being the best version of yourself is going to happen in those small, tiny moments, and I think step one into becoming that version is making sure that you are aware that you are appreciating those little things. Maybe it's a sip of coffee in the morning, that warmth that you feel, or maybe it's iced coffee. I am an iced coffee girl through and through. I am drinking my little iced coffee and enjoying the sip and appreciating that I am able to have this coffee and it get me through the next couple of hours. I'm gonna actually do that right now. Or maybe just appreciating the view outside. Maybe you don't have a view, but I'm just saying, like, appreciating those little things that you can, everyone can sit there and close their eyes and think of one little thing. Maybe you have an animal, maybe you have something in your room, like a decoration that you like, maybe you have a childhood item that you like, maybe there's a person in your life that you appreciate. And if you're sitting there and you're like, there's nothing, you're not looking deep enough. You need to literally think of, it could be the tiniest little minute thing. If you're sitting there with clothes on, I'm sitting here in clean clothes. You just need to be really, I think, have gratitude for those little things in order for you to start becoming that better version of you. Because then you're training your mind. You're training your mind to look out for the positive things. You're training your mind to look for those little things. So as you do it more and more, it becomes a mental habit where you're automatically noticing it. And then instead of, over time, the progression of you looking at the little things becomes easier and easier for the mind to grab onto. And then you eventually, I think, can get out of those slumps. So if you're ever in a slump, if you're ever in an anxiety slump, if you're ever in any type of slump, I think always just return back to the littlest things so that you can return to that higher version that you want to be. I also want to define the best version of yourself. There's always going to be a better version of you. That's how it should be. If you are in a state of life where you're like, this is the best it can get, I think there is a fine line between this is the best, that, like, appreciating everything around me, and then having an ego about your life. I think if you are a humble person, you will always strive to be better and have a better version of you, whether that's mentally, whether that's financially, whether that's being a better friend, whether that's being a better sibling, whether that's being a better anything. I think if you are a person that strives to be better in any way, then, like, I think that's just really important. You should have that humbleness, I guess, to always try to be better. You should always try to be better by yourself. But you should also appreciate how far you have come. So you should appreciate that your mind naturally can appreciate those little things. You should appreciate, how far you've come. You should give yourself that gratitude as well. And I think that's also one of those little things that when you progress in, like, a healing journey, or you progress in a, becoming that version of yourself that you want to be, as you progress, I think it'll be natural to have gratitude for that little thing. But you don't want to be too far, this is the best life ever, and you're going around stomping on the ground and having an ego. There is a fine line in between. I think there comes a point where you are mentally healthy, and I can say that I was, like, not a mentally healthy person for the longest time. I had anxiety. I could barely go to the grocery store. I couldn't go to movie theaters. There's a lot of things I couldn't do because I said I couldn't do it. And that's where we get into that you have to fake it till you make it. That is just how it has to be. You need to pretend you're that person until you become that person. And I know that sounds simpler, like, what does that mean? I will give I've been reading Atomic Habits, so if you've read this book, you know that this is, like, coming from that place. And this is why I think productive consumption is so important, because it is sparking these thoughts, rather than if I'm, not to put Grey's Anatomy down, I love that show, but if I'm watching Grey's Anatomy every day, I'm probably going to be thinking sadder thoughts throughout the day, because that is all I'm consuming. So I just want to put a reminder, make sure you are consuming positive consumption on top of, like, if you're watching I'm not saying don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm just saying make sure that's not the only thing you're consuming. Make sure you're consuming good things too. Make sure there's good things to consume within your day. Which I guess that's like another thing that you can do to be the best version of yourself. And I think that ties into the fake it till you make it, is you need to, I want you to think of, not like, think of someone, like a goal. Let's just say, I want to be healthy. I'll just say that. I want to be healthy. You are not just going to become healthy with your everyday habits right now if you are an unhealthy person. You have to step into every single day that you are that person. You are that healthy person. You need to make every decision saying like, what I'm healthy version of me now, as healthy version of me, what am I doing? It kind of does have to be black and white. Like it can't, I think there's a journey. I think it goes from appreciating the little things to then being like, okay, I'm ready to take that step and be a new version of me. And to be that version of me, I need to make the decision that I am going to become that person. I am that person. Once you start saying, I am this, you will become that, because you're going to go throughout your days saying, all right, what would a healthy person do right now? All right, we're going on a walk right now because a healthy person would hit 10,000 steps every day. A healthy person would have a gym membership. You're going to, there's shifts that are going to happen because you're going every single day. You're becoming that healthy version of you. You are turning into her because you are her. And then let's say 5 months go by. All right, you're her. And then let's just say you're healthy. You can kind of do it again and be like, all right, I'm healthy, but now I want to be extra healthy. What would this extra healthy version of me do? There's always too much of anything, though. You want to make sure you're not crossing a line. You want to make sure that you're always doing it for the better version of you, not for your ego, not for, let's say, where is that stemming from? I want to be healthy. Why do you want to be healthy? You need to make sure that those are coming from the right reasons. I want to be healthy because I want to live a long time for my future grandkids. Okay, cool. I want to be healthy because I want to be skinny. This might not necessarily be good thinking, because are you doing it for the aesthetic or are you doing it for you? Do you want to be skinny and lean because it is healthy and good for you? Or do you want to be skinny and lean because you want to be some aesthetic? There's just you need to make sure you're doing things, I think, for the right reason. And if you catch yourself doing it for wrong reasons, or you'll if you're questioning yourself, why am I doing this? I think then you need to go back and think about the little things and be like, okay, what do I value? Because whenever you're looking at the little things, I think that's when you find out what you value. I think, imagine if you are in a park setting. Noticing the little things can be noticing, what are you noticing? Really paying attention to what you personally are noticing. For me, if I'm sitting in a park, I'm probably looking and be like, oh my gosh, the warmth feels so good outside. I love being outside. I love, let's say it's fall time and the trees are changing color. That's just, I love that. And I think that anyone might. But then you can kind of go into the thoughts of all right, let's just say you're people watching and you're watching a mom and a dad play with their kid and you're like, oh, that's really sweet. I want that one day. You need to kind of pay attention to those thoughts. Those thoughts have that meaning. That's what you value. Or maybe there's two people. Maybe there's someone reading a book on a bench, like an older lady reading a book on the bench, and a family. Maybe you gravitate towards that old lady who's reading that book on the bench, and you kind of go into a thought process with that, I love what she's I don't know what you love about her. Maybe you love that she dressed up to go to the park and read her book, and you really like that because she got up and went and did that. today, and she's still looking good and fresh, even at her, she's still taking care of herself. You can kind of find things about yourself that you're like, okay, I value taking care of myself and still being into fashion at that old age, so maybe I should be into fashion right now. You just, like, the little things tell you so many things about you that you might not even notice. So once you find out what you value, and then you start pretending to be that person that you want to become, I think specificity is also a really important and can be a really valuable thing, is if you sit there and you make a schedule. Okay, let me backtrack and explain this a little bit better. A really good, I think, activity for anyone to do. I think a lot of people are like, what do I want to do in 5 years? What is my 5-year plan? Okay, everyone else is owning homes. Should I own a home? People are going to college. I should go to college, but you shouldn't be doing things because other people are doing them. You should be doing things because it supports your goals and your needs. So maybe someone is going to college to become a doctor. Another person is going to college because their parents are making them. Like, there's so many reasons for a lot of different things. You need to make sure that you are doing the right things that, again, support your future goals. So the best way to make sure that your plans are supporting your future goals is if you just sit there and write down every single hour of the day, 8 a.m. or 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever time you want to wake up, all the way to the time that you want to go to sleep. What do you imagine in that moment? So I am a 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. wake up girly. I value going to the gym in the morning so that my body can be active, so that I can live a long, healthy life and build really good habits as a 21-year-old. That is why I go to the gym. So you just need to go through every single hour of the day and pick exactly what fits into each hour. Don't think of money, though. Do not think of money. Don't squeeze work a 9 to 5. Like, 9 to 5, I'm obviously working. I don't want you to think of money whenever you're writing this list down, because if you're putting that's a value, that's a external value that you're bringing to your internal world. Money is a reward from the external world. This is for your internal. What does your soul want? So you're going to go ahead 8 a.m. to when you fall asleep. Whenever you get, like, what food are you eating throughout the day? Like, eating lunch. Okay, what lunch are you eating? Do you like sushi? Do you want the most expensive thing in the world? Or are you fine with just, like, some fast food? Or do you just want to make sure that you can, like, just buy whatever you want? Like, what is it that you want and value? This is a really good activity that I think that everyone should do, because I think you'll learn a lot about yourself and becoming that better version of you, because then you can center your life around what this is and pick jobs that support this. Maybe go to school that supports this. Maybe, like, there's things that you can do that supports this. So for me, for example, whenever I was first doing this, I was 18 years old whenever I made this list. And now I'm living that list because I centered my life around what I wanted these goals to be. It took some time to figure out, but I ended up doing it. And now I have a new list that I'm trying to get to there now. So you always want to be updating this list once you get to those current goals. I think getting to that first list, though, is always the hardest. But I remember, I think I wrote down 8 a.m., which I don't wake up at 8 a.m. I don't do 8 a.m. now. I like waking up earlier and getting a groove on with my day. And I think I put, like, I want to get sushi, and I want to watch movies with my boyfriend, and I want to be able to have freedom to go and do pretty much whatever I want. I want to be able to travel. Like, I want to, like, not know where I'm going to be that week. Then I found UGC and the content creation world, and it allowed me to fulfill that list and fulfill those needs. And I think UGC does do that for a lot of people. That's why, like, I want everyone to, like, if anyone can do, like, I want everyone to do UGC, because people say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, but usually it's because they don't want to help people. Maybe they want, there are people who want to help people, don't get me wrong. There are genuine people who are like, I need to help people. But there's also people who are literally doing it for the money. Same thing whenever it comes to being a lawyer. They just want the money. They don't really want to learn the law. They literally just want the money. And if you're chasing just money, you are not going to be happy. You need to be chasing a lifestyle, an agenda that you want to live every single day, rather than chasing the dollar sign. Because if you're chasing a dollar sign, you are not going to be happy, because you're going to be burnt out by the end of it. I really want to be a stay-at-home mom, which is why I love doing UGC too, is because I know that if I had a kid right now, I could be at home with my child if I wanted. And those are the goals that I want to do. I don't want to buy a home anytime soon. A lot of people are like, why wouldn't you want a home? I do want to be a homeowner, but I need my stocks to grow first before I put a down payment on a house. The house market's not good right now. Why would I buy a house right now? Those are goals to me. You need to find those goals for you to become that version of you that you want to be. You need to create a schedule for yourself and live your life around it. Create a life around it. I think it starts with a 9 to 5, which is why I'm like, UGC, I'm going to push UGC, because UGC will do that for you, and then you can kind of center your stuff around it. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a UGC creator, which means I make user-generated content, which means brands pay influencers money. That's influencing. I do UGC, user-generated content, so brands will pay me money for the videos rather than me having an audience. So I'm not an influencer making influencer money. I'm a content creator making user-generated content money. And anyone can do it. Literally anyone can do it. I do have to put this out there, because I really want people to get into it, because it does change the game for a lot of people. And I've seen it change the game for a lot of people. My best friend lives in Spain and does UGC full time. Like, what? I get to travel. Like, I've traveled like so many times this year because of UGC. So if you do like want any coaching, we only take serious creators on only who are actually looking to like change their life. So if you do want coaching, you can go ahead and look at the link in my bio, or you can DM me that you're just ready to go. It's completely up to you, but the reason I say that UGC is so game-changing is me as a UGC creator versus someone else as a UGC creator versus someone else as a UGC creator. Sure, we're all doing UGC, right? But me as a UGC creator, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's my why. Like, I'm doing this. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to travel, which is why I do UGC. Someone else is like, I don't want kids. I just want to travel the world. So they're going to maybe spend their money elsewhere, because they don't even want to think about owning a home. They're not going to put a down payment on a home, or maybe they don't even want to get married. They're going to be putting their money elsewhere where their values are. So I think UGC allows you to put your money to where your values are, and put your money towards that list that you created from 8 a.m. to whatever time you go to sleep. UGC allows you to kind of figure that out more and really soul search. And I think it is a really, really valuable skill to learn, and a really, really valuable thing to get into. And that is my take on that. But yeah, there's so many ways you can become the best version of you. It is up to you to start noticing those little things. It is up to you to then start becoming that person. So I think it's like 3 phases. Noticing the little things and what you value. Then, seeing that person you want to become and becoming it, and then long term making that list and like what you want your life to actually look like. So I think that's what I have today. That's the thoughts that I have due to the media I've been consuming. Also, remember that consume productive media. If you've made it this far, then kudos to you, because I would say this is pretty productive media. Read books, go find videos like this on YouTube, and I'm not saying don't give yourself that grace and go watch Grey's Anatomy. Bed rot. I do believe in that. There's a balance between everything. Too much, if anything, is a bad thing, though. That's why I said that about Grey's Anatomy. Just consume wisely. is what I will have to say. Again, if you want to work with me as a content creator, you can feel free to DM me or check that link in my bio, and you can go ahead and apply right then and there. I will see you next week.